Hello, what is up? Tom Magnus here, and I found a little story. It's a fairly big. It's kind of a landmark thing because now I presume if you have a similar thing happening in the United Kingdom, we will be having a similar thing happen where the judges will rule this one way against a business that refuses someone's order for whatever. In this case, it's a cake, a bakery in Northern Ireland, um, sorry, in Belfast, and the bakery, where they refused to bake a cake based on the fact that it had the person who wanted the cake wanted a pro-gay marriage message on it. Basically, what it's support gay marriage when it had Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street on it. Now, what the judges kind of ruled in here is that he ruled on the side of the gay lad, the gay guy, the person who was refused service. But I think it's wrong the way they've done it, because I think it would have been right, the correct ruling, if the business had refused to serve the person because of him being gay, not because of the message he wanted on the cake, which is why I believe they refused to serve this gentleman and refused to make the cake because of the message on the cake. Because the owners of the bakery were strong Christians, and unlike the rest of the UK, Northern Ireland is still very Christian, whether it's Catholic or strongly Protestant, usually Presbyterian. And based off these guys' names, I'm guessing they're Protestants. But that's beside the point. The point is, the people, the owners of the business, were charged to pay £500. Doesn't seem like a lot, but when how much was the cake? The cake was like £30, £36.50, and so I mean, in terms of that, they could have just took £36 from the guy, printed the gay cake, the pro-gay marriage cake, but they refused because they didn't feel comfortable supporting the message on the cake, which I think is fair enough, because I think free speech should be defended, and this goes against the owners of the businesses' rights to not want to make this cake with this message on. And I think you've got to draw the line here, and we had a similar case in America, I believe, with Walmart not wanting to print cakes with the Confederate flag on, because there was it was about a year ago, there was a big hoo-ha over the Confederate flag. But there's been hoo-ha over the Confederate flag for a while, but there was a significant time, a year and a half ago or whenever, when there were a load of shops and Amazon and stuff were getting rid of all their things with Confederate flags on, even games which had the Confederate flag in, which seems a bit for historical games. But this is the point. Where do you draw the line? If someone comes into their shop and wants a ISIS cake, would it be discrimination if they refused to make that? Well, you could say it wouldn't be if it was a white, non-religious, but white atheist person, maybe, who want an ISIS cake just to be edgy or whatever. But if a Muslim guy want an ISIS cake or whatever, or something like, I don't know, where do you draw the line here? Is it only if it's a non-traditional person with non-traditional sexual orientation or ethnic minority wants a cake with some kind of message on it? I don't know. Is it only a case if they want something and then they get refused? But I definitely fall on the side of the bakers, and they should have the right as to what they print on a cake, because it does, the way the judge and who was it, the Lord Chief Justice of Northern Ireland, Declan Morgan, said that it was discrimination, but he also said that it doesn't mean that they support gay marriage just because they made a cake with a message saying that. But then it's like, are you supporting ISIS if you would it be the same if you printed a cake with, I'm sure they would say you shouldn't print cakes with the Confederate flag on, or with the ISIS flag on, or anything, or like, I don't know, the Rhodesian flag, I don't know, some kind of thing with more Nazi flags, like they wouldn't allow people to have cakes with their swastikas on, but then say you have someone, I'm having a Nazi party, it's a birthday party for my kid, he loves 1930s 40s Germany, he just wants a historically accurate birthday or whatever. I don't know why that's the problem with this ruling is very subjective, and I don't think it was discrimination, because that's what they've ruled it under, as discriminationary laws, and I don't think people have the right to force people to make things that or support different causes. Like, say if there was the same thing for if they were forcing people to make pro or anti-EU cakes or something, like when we had the Brexit, the whole referendum on that. I mean, I'm sure there would have been similar incidents, people wanting cakes which supported it or whatever, or t-shirts or anything, and then if people refused, then would it be discriminatory, or would that be open? This is seems to be more of a political kind of religious kind of thing. But I just think it's pretty appalling that they have to put up with this, that they lost, and that they are being, as they say, this ruling undermines democratic freedom, it undermines religious freedom, and it undermines free speech. And I couldn't agree with them more. And freedom of choice, like to not have to accept these things. That's how society seems to be moving towards. Everyone has to not only not discriminate, but also have to openly accept a lot of things like this, which I completely disagree with. I think people are allowed to have differing opinions, and they don't have to make things that support something that directly goes against them. Like the same thing, say there was a Muslim owners of a bakery or something, and I'm sure they would equally refuse to make a cake supporting gay marriage as well, because that goes straight against their they can think, oh well, the business is different, but the difference is the businesses should be, but say if it's like a public bakery or something, then fair enough. It's like, it's completely different to straight refusing someone because of their race, ethnicity, and so on, and sexual orientation or whatever, or gender, whatever. That's not what happened here, and they're trying to make it out like that's what happened, but it's really forcing people to support a left-wing liberal point of view, really, to be like, well, not only do you have to accept people like this on their views, but you're gonna get fined if you don't do that, which is fair enough if you're discriminating against them. But when you're not, and you stand up for what you believe in, I don't believe that that's right, and that's the way this country's going towards, which is sad. And I think this just can't work on. This is the problem. I don't see why you draw the line with something like this, and I feel like it's a dangerous thing. It's not a one size fits all kind of ruling. Like, yeah, discrimination laws, fair enough. You're going to try and protect them, but it's like it's a cake with a message. It's not someone Christian person being like, fucking gays, like, we hate them so much we don't want to serve them. That's not what happened. But anyway, Tommy Magnus, peace out. I thought this was a pretty shocking story. I feel bad for him. The guy seemed like a genuinely nice guy as well, the owner of the business. And yeah, peace out.